historic conflicts.
In the early dawn, as mist unfurls across the rolling fields of Europe, the thunder of hooves shatters the silence. At the head of a resplendent cavalry, one figure stands out. Napoleon Bonaparte, clad in imperial blue and gold, his posture is unwavering, eyes fixed on the horizon. The world has rarely seen a commander as gifted, as audacious, or as controversial as this Corsican-born general, now Emperor of the French. The air crackles with anticipation, the fate of nations poised to shift beneath the sweep of his sword. Yet even as the rooster crows and the banners flutter, we must ask, how could such a military genius, revered and feared across continents, ultimately fail? What forces, seen and unseen, conspired to bring down this titan of history? Let us journey through the crucible of the Napoleonic Wars, where the dreams of empire clashed with the realities of war, where strategy and ambition danced their perilous waltz. The saga begins with the Battle of Austerlitz in December 1805. Here, beneath the icy sun, Napoleon orchestrates his most dazzling victory. Outnumbered by Russian and Austrian forces, he feigns weakness, lures the Allies into a trap, and then strikes with surgical precision. Lines of infantry, gleaming bayonets, columns advancing in perfect rhythm. The Emperor's genius is undeniable. The enemy is routed. The legend of the son of Austerlitz is born. Animated maps reveal the rapid expansion of French influence. Borders dissolve and reform as the eagle of France soars from Spain to Poland, from the Mediterranean to the North Sea. Napoleon's Grande Armée, disciplined and loyal, seems unstoppable. But genius is a double-edged sword. With every victory, Napoleon's confidence swells. He redraws the map of Europe, installs relatives on foreign thrones, imposes the continental system to choke Britain's trade. Each move breeds resentment. Each edict sparks unrest. The emperor, once a liberator, now appears to many as a conqueror, an oppressor. In 18, the stage is set for his greatest gamble, the invasion of Russia. Over 600,000 men march eastward, a force so vast it seems to darken the land itself. The initial advances are swift. Smolensk falls, the Russian army retreats, luring the French ever deeper into the vast, unforgiving expanse. The Battle of Borodino marks a turning point. On a blood-soaked field, the two greatest armies in Europe collide. Cannon roar, cavalry charge, and men fall by the tens of thousands. Though Napoleon claims a costly victory, it is not decisive. Moscow lies ahead, but the city is deserted, set ablaze by its own defenders. The emperor waits for a surrender that never comes. Then the Russian winter descends, a force no general can command. Supplies dwindle, frostbite ravages the ranks, and the specter of starvation stalks the retreat. Animated maps chart the disintegration of the once mighty Grande Armée, shrinking with each passing day, harried by Cossack raiders and the merciless cold. Of the hundreds of thousands who marched into Russia, a mere fraction return. Arrogance, overextension, the failure to anticipate the will of a people, these are the seeds of Napoleon's undoing. Across Europe, the tide turns. Prussia, Austria, Britain, and Russia unite against the common threat. The Peninsular War bleeds France and Spain, where guerrilla fighters, emboldened by the promise of freedom, resist with unyielding resolve. The myth of French invincibility begins to crumble. The final act unfolds at Waterloo in June 1815. After escaping exile on Elba, Napoleon rallies his veterans for one last gamble. The fields of Belgium become a crucible where destiny is forged with every cannon blast. British and Prussian forces, led by Wellington and Blucher, hold their ground. The French Imperial Guard, Napoleon's finest, is hurled into the fray, but even their valor cannot reverse the tide. Rain-soaked, exhausted, and outnumbered, the French are driven back. The Emperor's star has finally fallen. But why did this unparalleled military genius fail? The reasons run deep, woven into the fabric of ambition and history. First, there is the peril of arrogance. Napoleon, shaped by his triumphs, began to believe in his own legend. He dismissed advice, underestimated his foes, and overreached his grasp. The invasion of Russia was not just a military campaign, it was an act of hubris, a belief that no obstacle, neither distance nor climate nor the will of a people, could stand before him. Second, there was overextension. Each conquest demanded more men, more resources, more attention. The empire stretched from the sunny hills of Spain to the frozen plains of Russia, yet its ruler could not be everywhere at once. Supply lines grew perilously thin, alliances frayed, and local populations chafed under foreign rule. Third, the Russian campaign stands as a lesson in the limits of power. No amount of genius can change the seasons. The Russian winter, combined with scorched earth tactics and relentless harassment by partisans, turned a victorious army into a shattered remnant. Nature became the ultimate adversary, indifferent, implacable, and unconquerable. Fourth, and perhaps most profound, was the awakening of resistance among the conquered. Across Spain, Prussia, and Italy, ordinary men and women rose up, inspired by a sense of national identity and a longing for self-determination. Napoleon's reforms, once welcomed as a breath of modernity, became chains to be broken. The more he pressed his rule, the more bitter the resistance grew. The dual nature of military genius is now revealed. To win battles is not always to win history. A commander may dazzle with tactics, reshape nations with strategy, yet still falter if vision is clouded by pride, or if the hearts of people are ignored. The greatest victories can sow the seeds of future defeat, and the echo of a cannon can awaken 1,000 voices of defiance. As the dust settles, Napoleon's legacy remains complex. He reshaped Europe, spread the ideals of the French Revolution, and inspired generations with his boldness and brilliance. Yet he also left a continent scarred by war, a trail of broken dreams, and a lesson written in blood and ice. To the youth who look upon this history, a message endures, one that transcends time and borders. Genius must be matched with humility and clarity. The allure of ambition can blind even the brightest minds, turning triumph into tragedy. Napoleon's downfall reminds us that even the greatest can fall, not by enemies alone, but by their own blind ambition. Let this story echo not merely as a chronicle of battles lost and won, but as a testament to the power of self-awareness, restraint, and understanding. For in the great theater of history, it is not only the size of one's army or the brilliance of one's maneuvers that matters, but the wisdom to know one's limits, the courage to listen, and the grace to lead with both strength and humility. Across the centuries, the image of Napoleon on horseback remains, majestic, solitary, indelible. He reminds us that greatness is not the absence of failure, but the willingness to learn from it. The rise, the fall, the legacy, these are the enduring lessons of the Napoleonic Wars, a story for the ages and a mirror for us all. Thank you for respecting history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and write the bell so you don't miss any battles.